is an early edition of the Starting Five. I'm welcoming myself, Mr. Brian. I'm also going to welcome my co-host, Mr. Corey. How you doing?
I'm doing all right, Mr. Brian. How you doing today?
I'm doing not too bad. I'm not doing too bad. I'm over here. I'm solo. My wife's gone. My son's gone. I got my daughter though. So
Little
yeah.
daddy daughter weekend.
Yeah, a little daddy daughter weekend. So I'm excited about that. She's been good. She's been great so far. She's taking a nap now, so I figured let me give you a call and
Sneak this
we
in.
can we can get an episode in.
Yeah, perfect.
So seeing that time is going to be a constraint factor. What did you want to start with?
Well, as the NBA season concludes, we got to think a couple games left in the season for most teams, and thinking about the teams that are going to make the playoffs, the teams that are going to miss the playoffs. There's some really good players on some teams that turned out pretty bad. I'm thinking about like Luka Doncic, Kyrie Irving.
So disappointed in that. I'm
very disappointed.
That's
right.
That's an experiment that went bad.
Although I'm hearing Kyrie might actually want to stay, which will be interesting.
Yeah, you probably heard from the wrong person because that would be the dumbest move ever.
Might have been some Twitter clickbait. I'm not really sure. But so I was thinking about,
how do you think about? I don't even want to interrupt you, but it just makes me so mad.
Yeah.
How do you go from being like fourth, you get the fourth in the rankings, and then now you're like, what are they?
A half game out of the playoffs, 11th. Half game out of 10th
it's
place.
Like literally, if I forget who it is. I'm so upset. I forget who it is that needs to win, and then they're just done.
Probably OKC.
How is that possible? Yeah. How is that possible?
I think we both said it. We were curious as to how the combination of Luka and Kyrie on the court was going to play out, and it did not play out very well.
Yes, I said it
from the beginning
times. Yeah, they're two ball dominant players, but it's like, really?
Yeah. And then on top of that, you gave up your best defensive player to get Kyrie. So that's like two strikes. And you got some other teams that were, I don't want to say getting healthy, but getting healthy necessarily, not necessarily getting healthy, but added some pieces. You got the Lakers, and they got healthy. New Orleans has been steady all year. If Zion comes back, that could be an interesting first round play-in game. Minnesota got Karl Anthony Towns back. OKC has been pretty steady the whole time. And then Dallas lost their best defensive player and couldn't figure out how to play with two ball dominant guys on the court together. So as we come down to the playoffs and the teams that are making the playoffs, there's teams that are missing the playoffs. I said there's good guys on bad teams, but it got me questioning kind of how a basketball game plays out in a way. The ball's tipped. Nothing you can do about it. Somebody's got to score. Somebody's got to grab rebounds. Those are two things that are going to happen, definitely in an NBA game. You're not going to have teams not putting up points, and you're not going to have guys missing shots. Somebody's got to get the rebounds. And everybody in the NBA is going to be really good. I don't think I even need to say that. So you give a guy enough shots in any game, I feel like they'll be able to come up with 20 points a game. So is there a point where somebody can score 20 points a game and just not be as good as you think they are because they're a 20-point scorer? Like, is there something else going on? So I look back. Yeah, you gonna say something?
I was gonna ask you, what is your actual question? Because not everybody that gets to the league can score 20 a game.
Well,
I want to know what your question is. More
so I think if you put any of these guys out there for long enough, the team might not win, but I think you can get any of these guys 20 points a game. That's maybe not necessarily true, but I think it's probably pretty close. But the team could be terrible because you're feeding this guy to the detriment of the team. So, are there guys in the league that are putting up 20 points, plus points a game, maybe grabbing double digit rebounds a game, but that wouldn't be the best role for them on a team, but they're doing it out of necessity because they're the best guy on that team that isn't that good. So I look
Well,
back, yeah,
and not to interrupt you in that
yeah,
sense,
keep
but
interrupting. Mm-hmm.
like when you talk about like 20 points a game, but
Mm-hmm.
obviously the team is pretty much trash,
Right.
and this person like it's just I think back to the like it's weird that I'm going to use this one team that has two players that was happening,
Right.
but eventually they changed teams, but
Mm-hmm.
this one team and it's the Minnesota Timberwolves. I think
Mm-hmm.
back to my favorite player, which is Kevin Garnett.
Uh,
That he did that for so long, and he had some talent there. He had Marbury
yeah.
at a
Yeah,
point.
Marbury.
He had
Right.
Latrell Sprewell at a point.
Mm-hmm.
He had Wally Zerbiak at a point. Yeah, that's a throwback for you.
Now you're reaching.
I mean, yeah, I'm reaching, but like he had talent. He played with some
Mm-hmm.
guys. He even had
Yeah.
the coach. He was a
Mm-hmm.
coach for a while, and I believe now he's like an analyst on NBA TV. Um,
Mm-hmm.
Sam Mitchell. I
Okay.
mean,
Yeah.
he had some talent that he played with,
Mm-hmm.
and like Kevin Garnett was a guaranteed like 25 and 12 guy. You know what
Mm-hmm.
I mean? On
Yeah.
Minnesota for so long.
Right.
And it took for I think for him to realize, he talked to his agent probably and said, "Hey, this isn't going to work. I've been here for so long. I've tried to
Mm-hmm.
get this together." He goes to Boston. Yes, he does recruit a couple people.
Mm-hmm.
And they get their quote unquote big three. You
Mm-hmm.
know, and they win.
Yeah.
And now you see what Kevin Garnett's all about.
Right.
Even though he was a beast there. Then you think
Right.
about somewhat of a Kevin Garnett replacement has the
Mm-hmm.
same first name. Now it's Kevin Love.
Right.
You know what I mean? So it's
Mm-hmm.
like Kevin Love was killing it over there. Another double guy. He's like a 22 and 12 guy, like
Mm-hmm. He sure
insane.
was. Right.
Absolutely insane for so
Right.
long. And
Mm-hmm.
then I heard, yeah, he's going to Cleveland, and he's teaming up with that guy. I'm like,
The flat
oh
earther.
man,
The flat
yeah,
earther Kyrie Irving.
yeah. I'm like this. I'm like Kevin Love's about to get a championship because Kevin Love's a monster.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
Well, there's a couple of things I want to point out. Kevin Garnett made the playoffs, and I want to say they secured the number one seed one year when he was in Minnesota.
Yeah.
But you're right. If you just look at the statistics, uh, Kevin Love put up similar numbers in Minnesota to Kevin Garnett. Then went to the Cavaliers, and you see his numbers take a step back to play with some other guys. There's two differences for me with those two guys. One is that Kevin Garnett was able to make the playoffs. So that team was still really good with him able to put up those 25 and 15 type seasons. And his defense is a lot better than Kevin Love's. So even though the numbers are the same, Kevin Garnett was a much better player than Kevin Love
Yeah.
in
No.
Minnesota, right?
Yeah. No. I mean, I'm gonna agree there, but
Right.
I'm gonna disagree with your point. How
Yeah.
there's guys that are dropping 20 and
On
not
bad
really
teams.
like. Look at
But
look at let's look at a team right now
mhm,
that's is they're literally like they're using their logo namesake, the Suns. They're hot. They're
mhm,
on fire.
they're on fire.
And your boy Chris Paul just dropped, I think, the most threes he ever did in the game the other day. I think he had like
Mhm,
7 threes.
right.
Chris Paul's, yeah, he's not Kevin Durant, I think, had like 29 points. I could be wrong, but he showed out.
Yeah.
And you got D Book. D Book, I mean, that boy is nice. These guys, like, think about it. These three playmakers, their numbers really haven't even changed. They might have even gotten better.
Mm-hmm.
And then don't forget, in the middle you got DeAndre Ayton.
Mm-hmm.
Like, to be honest, I think the Suns may be the team now.
They got a big four.
Yeah, no, they do.
For sure.
I mean, it sucks that they have to. Kevin Durant has to be there, and but listen, they're playing to what is expected of them, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Well, and so I'll say, I think maybe to my point is that Chris Paul is capable of scoring 20+ points a game.
He can do it on any team.
On any team, but if that Phoenix Suns team is going to win a championship, you don't really want Chris Paul scoring 20 points a game. Only if it's necessary. Like, let's say Booker's off or Durant's off or somebody's in foul trouble, and then you need somebody to pick up the slack. But I think to average that would be a detriment to that Suns team.
No, I'm not saying that he needs to average that. What I'm saying is
he's capable of it. I don't mean that these guys. I think that these guys are capable of it.
And trust me, if he's dropping 20, you got KD dropping at least 25. You got D Book dropping at least 25, and you got DeAndre Ayton dropping at least 20.
But it's got to be a balance somewhere. So if Chris Paul is going to score that much, somebody else is going to have to take a dip in their production. Right, and then it's a balance as to where is that most effective. Where is that production most effective?
Yeah.
So and that's
the way I look at it is, if Chris Paul's scoring that much, that actually means that maybe DeAndre Ayton isn't getting that many points, because your point guard is supposed to get it to your big man, and then if you got your 2 and your 3, and I think about it, I don't even know what Kevin Durant's playing. I don't know if he's playing the 3 or the 4, but I think regardless,
I think his positionless basketball at this point with those guys.
But if you got, we'll say your 2 and your 4 dropping 25 at least,
right?
And then if your guard drops, 20, you don't really need your big man to score. No, but if your big man drops 20, 25, whatever. And then Chris Paul just needs to, this is why right now they look like somewhat of a well-oiled machine.
Yeah.
I'm telling you right now, being
their
healthy,
scoring is going to come from Booker and Durant.
Yeah, and I'm telling you right now, with them being 100%, if they're 100% healthy, I don't foresee anybody really. Maybe the Warriors could give them like a tough time. Other than that,
that'll be their first round matchup, as the things stay the way they are.
Yeah, because I don't even think Denver's giving them that type of work.
No. Well, so let me ask you. Let's say the Warriors give the Suns a tough first round matchup. Let's say that goes 6 games. Then your second round matchup is going to be against the Nuggets, right? So that's another tough matchup, right? So now let's say that goes 6 games, 7 games. Do you think that they have enough guys on that team to be able to get through multiple long series?
Are you talking about the Warriors or the Suns?
The Suns. Because don't forget, they gave up some pieces to get Durant.
They did.
Who is their 5th starter?
Oh man, who is their 5th starter?
It's a good question.
Is it a Morris? I feel like there's like 4 Morrises, like Marquise.
No. There's like 4 of those.
They're not just twins; they're like quadruplets.
They're quadruplets
because they're like on every team. Every season, I'm like, how the hell?
Right. Who's coming off the bench for these guys?
Who? Yeah, no. But the thing is, they're so talented in that starting 5.
Those 4 guys
I will say
very
the 4.
talented.
I should say starting 4 because I don't even know who the 5th guy is.
Those 4 guys are very talented.
They really need that much bench work because those guys are going to get you
get through.
Won 8 straight, like since KD came back. and then they were
No,
on
he
a
hasn't
winning
played 8.
streak.
I don't think he's even played 8 games yet since he's been back.
Maybe. Well, I know they won like 8 straight.
They may
So
have.
just think about it.
Yeah, but you're getting to a point in the season where you got teams that are I don't want to say tanking, but not necessarily playing the 100% for 48 minutes. Eight games now is
Yes,
different than 8 games in February, January.
which is true. I agree with you
Yeah,
there, but you
right.
got to look at this. These teams now that are playing,
Yeah,
especially in the West, because they're so tight from like 5 to 12, that these games actually matter. So
they really are. They
some of
really
them
are.
are playing. I think the Mavs threw in the towel because now they're saying everybody's hurt. Like all of a
Yeah,
sudden now
right,
Kyrie's hurt. Now Luca
right.
has some sort of injury.
Yeah,
I'm like, okay, sure, you guys are hurt. Yeah,
right,
yeah, your
right,
feelings are hurt. You can't put that on the injury report.
right, right. They're feeling, yeah, they got a, yeah, what's it called? Butt hurt? I guess I could
Yeah.
say. They're a little butt hurt over this season.
Boy, you can say butthurt. I don't think they're gonna come after you. Listen, I think I
No,
could even say the F word right now.
yeah, I don't
I
think
think
the
I'll be good.
FCC cares. Yeah, if Howard Stern can get away with it, I can sure as hell say it.
Just look at the news.
Mhm.
If certain things happen in the news, I think you can say butthurt.
Right? Yeah, fair. We're not inciting a riot or anything.
Yeah, yeah. No, we're not doing that. Yeah. We're
Right.
not paying hush money to.
Right.
Yeah. hmm
But Phoenix, I mean, yeah, Phoenix is the probably most dangerous team when those four guys are healthy. If they can, and you get a game day off in between, but long series, it's going to be tough. Right now,
I don't. To
I
be
think it's going to be
honest,
tough for them to come out of the West.
man, I'm telling you right now, I don't. It's gonna. I. This is gonna sound crazy, but
Mm,
the Warriors,
mm,
Suns,
yeah,
whichever team, gets the top of the hill,
yeah,
you know, is probably taking it.
yeah. You could be right.
Uh, I mean,
That's
because
not a bad call.
apparently Mr. Wiggins is coming back,
They're saying he's coming back.
and he's literally replicated his last year, even though he hasn't played in like the last 23 games, but
Right.
he's still averaging about the same amount of points, same rebounds, same assists. He literally was having because I believe last year he made the All-Star game.
Yeah, he was an all-star.
He's having another All-Star season. However,
Yeah, whenever he's
I think
there.
I believe he's having some sort of. I think his dad may be ill,
Yeah, yeah. I
so
think that's what I've read.
yeah, that's the reasoning
Yeah,
why he's been out. Which
yeah.
that's perfectly fine. I mean, I'm glad the Warriors are holding him down.
Right.
But this guy comes back, and if he might come back with a vengeance. And if he comes
He
back with a
could.
vengeance, you have Clay. Clay's playing like Clay of 2019, and
Hey,
Steph's is a
Steph,
guarantee.
Steph. Yeah,
And
Steph is Steph.
I believe Draymond seems like he's on his way out, but he's still
Hmm.
going to give it one last hurrah. So
Yeah,
I'm just saying, and that's 4 right there. So against
yeah.
the 4, you know, and I know they would love to knock KD out
Oh,
on
they would love
the
it.
Suns.
I
So
don't. I don't know. I don't know if they're gonna. I. I mean, I said it a couple. It's their road record. They got to find a way to win a
not worried
game in
about it.
Phoenix. Yeah, winning a
Playoff.
game in Phoenix is going to be much tougher than most of those 30 losses on the road. Well, you just mentioned a name, so I got a question. Who do you think is the most underrated player in the NBA?
The most underrated player. Wow.
Yeah, who's somebody in the NBA that whatever they do for whatever reason, for me, there's two guys I can think of, but their teams are just better when they're there, and they're not necessarily stat guys. They're not what they're doing isn't showing up in the stat sheet,
Oh man.
or somebody who's showing up in the stat sheet that people aren't talking about enough.
I'm gonna. I think I have. I may have two names for you,
Yeah.
and I may be biased with one. Um, because I went to a certain college in Pennsylvania,
Mm,
and this young gentleman also went there, and I feel like he's extremely underrated. Never has
hmm
made an all-star team, which he should have.
hmm
And I'm gonna go with C.J. McCollum.
That's a good call.
I feel like that man is so underrated. This guy
Hmm
he's probably averaged 20 like I think his last all his years that he's been in the league.
Yeah.
I remember in college as a freshman, he was the leading scorer in D1. So under the radar. You
Yeah.
know, nobody really talked about him. He got drafted, I
Mm-hmm.
believe, number 10,
Mm-hmm.
obviously to the Blazers. And, when he was with, Dame Time, they were like, oh, that's, comparably, they were comparing that backcourt to the Splash Brothers, you know.
Right.
And I was like, yeah, all day. But this guy's never made an all-star team.
That's impressive. I didn't
But
realize he
he's
never made an All Star.
yeah, never made an all-star team. And I'm talking about dropping 20. He's dropping at least 20 points a game, at least the last 10 years. Which is crazy.
You're close. You're close. 9 years.
Am
Last 9 years.
last time. Okay.
Very
All right.
close.
But think about that.
Pretty good guess. Yeah.
So
hmm
that might be. I
hmm
can't say Clay is underrated. Clay was going to be my second guy. I
Yeah.
can't say
I
Clay
thought you
is
were gonna go with Clay.
underrated. I was going to go with Clay, but Clay does have
Yeah.
rings, but it's
Yeah.
like they don't give Clay either as much respect as he deserves.
Yeah.
The dude dropped a record setting, like I think it was like 60 points in 3 quarters or something crazy. Who
It was
does
like
that?
on 14 dribbles or something like that.
Yeah, and he didn't dribble the ball.
Right.
Basketball's about dribbling.
Right.
You know what I
You got to
mean?
dribble to get open.
Yeah, it's like how do you
At
do
least
that?
a couple times. Yeah.
So it's like
Clay's a good call too. Clay is interesting because he can get as hot as anybody. You just mentioned 60 points in like 3 quarters.
yeah,
So his shot is got to be. I can think of maybe one or two other guys that have a shot that's just as effortless as his. And I'm not
yeah.
even thinking about Curry because Curry's got. I don't know how Curry makes some of his shots. It's unbelievable. But for
No,
me, when I watch Clay, it's just he can. There's no movement in his shot other than his shot, so it's just such an easy shot to replicate. So repetition, you think if you're just doing the exact same thing, you're more likely to be successful.
I'm gonna
So
tell
I
you
think
right
about
now.
his shot. Yeah.
You mentioned Curry.
hmm
Like you can't really talk about Curry unless you're talking about like what's that one movie where that little alien takes the bike ET?
ET.
Yeah, that's
Did you
Steph.
just call ET extraterrestrial?
Yeah, that's what ET stands for. I'm pretty
I mean,
sure.
that's what it stands for, but nobody calls it
Yeah, no,
extraterrestrial.
I'm gonna call it because that's what Curry is. I mean, that
Yeah.
guy
Mm.
when you watch
Yeah.
him, it's
Right.
insane.
Right. Curry's
And
my favorite player in the league. I'm not ashamed to admit that.
have you noticed
At
like
least the last decade.
but have you noticed that like Curry has like all these pre-game routines and like
hmm
he'll come out before the crowd's even there and he'll shoot it from like the the booth from
From like the tunnel.
upstairs or yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like what
Yeah.
how do you and he makes
Right.
it and he just walks back into the
Right.
locker room.
Right. Yeah.
That's
He has like there's like a magnet on the ball when he shoots.
yeah, no,
It's
it's
unbelievable. Right.
insane. Absolutely insane.
Right.
I do have another guy
Yeah. I was
that's
gonna say before you move on, Clay's defense is so underrated
oh
that when you
yeah.
watch that team play, he'll take on the best guy on the other team as long as it's not like somebody just who's going to be able to outmuscle him. So like when they played Harden and the Rockets all those years in the playoffs, he was taking on Harden and he was not getting into foul trouble and he was shutting them down. So sometimes because his defense is so good and he doesn't shy away from a matchup, you might miss how much he's affecting that game because he's not necessarily shooting as much in that game.
That's true. I can agree
Yeah.
there.
Yeah.
Who
And
is
that's
the
where Clay is really
so
he's like one of the most complete players.
I'm gonna throw somebody in there as like oh man, I don't even know how I can put this, but I don't think he's. I think he's under. No, I can't say he's underrated. I don't know. I just feel like he doesn't get the love that he deserves.
Yeah. Who's this?
And it's funny. He played with one of the guys that I said is underrated.
Mm-hmm.
Dame Time.
Yeah.
I don't think he does not get. He needs a lot more respect. They got to put some respect on his name. You know,
That's fair. Yeah.
because
Well, he was somebody I was going to bring up earlier.
he.
But we were talking about guys that put up points on bad teams.
Yeah, but the thing is, it's not
And
like Portland's been a bad team. It's just that they don't.
no,
They need like one piece. I've been trying to figure it out for the last, we'll say, 5 years.
Yeah.
I just don't know what that one piece is.
Right.
You know,
I think right now he's just doing too much for that team. They need people to take some of that weight off of his shoulders. He's averaging 32 points this year. And they'd probably be better to have just kept CJ McCollum in the fold, because CJ was putting up 20, and then you don't need Lillard to do everything else.
I agree.
That could be a misstep for them. They probably could have added somebody around them as opposed to breaking them up.
I don't. I want to disagree, but I agree.
Yeah. Right, like there's a threshold, like where Lillard's maximum points are effective, and I think he's past that this year. He's 32 is like too much for him to shoulder. That's not helping that team.
But it's not though, because he does it with so much ease.
Oh, it's easy. But
it's like what's too much to shoulder is the team's not winning.
That's what I mean, right? So if there was other guys on that team, he wouldn't be putting up that many points.
Yeah,
I'm going to throw two names at you, though. And I think, I think they're both. I don't think they should. I think these two guys, they don't show up in the stat sheets, but when they're on the court, these teams are better. I'm going to start with Boston and Marcus Smart. I don't know what it is.
I really wanted to disagree with you, but that's a good call.
You're going to disagree with my next one. Marcus Smart, when he's on the court, that team is just better. He doesn't.
Is he Oklahoma State?
Oklahoma State.
Yeah, I thought so.
I think it's either Oklahoma State or Oklahoma. I think it's Oklahoma State, and I think what's his name was.
That was my guy. I watched him in college. He's tough.
Yeah,
he's tough.
Yeah, he's tough. He's strong. He's big. He's for a guard.
Gets it done.
Flopping aside. He's flopping aside, but he does. He does little things. He's a great defensive player. He can take on the other team's best guard. Yeah. And that team is just better when he's on the court. The other one's Draymond Green. Yeah, my other guy's Draymond Green.
Oh, damn it! No, he's not underrated. I disagree.
See, I don't think
he's definitely not underrated.
From the standpoint where he's like the key to them winning championships.
To be honest, sometimes he's and Draymond, I love your game. I love how you play it, but sometimes it's a pain in my ass.
Yeah, but listen, is another guy who's going to flop. He's going to be out there. He's going to flop.
Yeah,
but I think when you look at
the Warriors a chip when he kicked LeBron.
I'm gonna defend what happened there.
Oh God. You're such a LeBron fan.
And I'm going to say that yes, that's true. The reason why they lost. The reason why they lost is because they took him off the court for not one game, but they took him off for 2 games. I will make the case that they really took him off the court for 2 games.
Okay.
Right. So in what I remember happening in that game in particular was Draymond went to the floor and LeBron was right next to him. There might have been a little bit of a tussle between them. Right, and that sent Draymond to the floor.
In-game tussle.
Right? In-game tussle.
Yeah.
The referee was less than 5 feet from them, right? No foul was called. Okay, no foul was called. Keep playing. Then LeBron taunts Draymond Green. Draymond Green's got to be better because he knows he's got a reputation. But he steps over Draymond Green, right?
Okay.
To which...
If we're talking about a step over,
Mm-hmm.
what they didn't call anything when Iverson stepped over Ty
No,
Lue
right.
in that
But
2000
I'm not saying
one.
they should have called anything. I'm not saying they should have called
Okay,
anything.
all
But
right.
LeBron, the coach of the Cavs that year, I
Coach,
think it was
was it
in.
that Spanish dude that
No, it
they
was
fired?
Tyronn
No.
Lue.
Oh, was it Tyronn
Lue.
Lue? Okay.
Yeah, it was Lue.
Oh yeah, no, I'm thinking
And
of Black, but they fired
right,
his
yeah,
ass
Black,
like
yeah,
after
right after like
20 games
20
or
games in
something.
that season. Yeah. But so I think LeBron has Tyronn Lue in the back of his mind. He's like, I'm going to step over LeBron the way Iverson stepped over Lue. So he steps over Draymond Green, and Draymond Green does a little more than shrug, but kind of shrugs LeBron James' leg off of him and flings his arm up. We know what happened. We've seen the replay. The referee is still less than 5 feet from them and did not call even a common foul on that play. Now the game ends and the league goes back and looks it over and says, you know
Crazy.
what? I guess we could have given Draymond a technical for something that wasn't even a common foul on the court, which is what got him suspended for game 5. How do you look back if nothing is even called on the court and say, well, we could have done that. We could have done this. You could do that for 55 other things in a game.
Oh yeah,
But
correct.
that was the one that they picked.
I'll agree
right?
with you there. I'll
Yeah.
agree with you there. But
So
I
that's what gets
disagree
him removed.
with the fact that you think he's underrated.
Well, so now you go to game 6 and he's back. Well, now another thing that happens in game 5 while he's out is Andrew Bogut got hurt, and that was a big loss for that team also.
Really?
But
Andrew Bogut.
Watch that team. Andrew Bogut was a big part of that team. He played very strong. He 16 to 18 minutes a game.
Well, then you might as well say Luke Longley helped the Bulls back in.
Different story. Andrew Bogut. You know where Andrew Bogut was drafted? You know how good of a player Andrew Bogut was?
I'm not saying he's not a good player.
Listen, this is the war. You talk
Bogut.
about Steph Curry, you talk about Klay Thompson, you talk about Draymond Green, but you still had Iguodala on that team.
You have AI on that.
You had Andrew Bogut on that team. Andrew Bogut was playing 16 to 18 minutes. Listen, watch how that team plays when he's on the court.
Oh my god!
And
if you say his name one more time,
he had great hands.
If you say Andrew Bogut one more time,
I never said it again.
Okay, I'm just saying.
Anyway, he got hurt in that game.
Bill Wellington from the Bulls, or
Andrew Bogut was a number 1 overall draft pick. I'm not talking about Bill Wellington and Luke Longley. I'm talking about somebody who is immensely talented when compared to other NBA players. He's great. His hands were so good.
Giving him so much right now, Andrew Bogut.
Because listen, that Warriors team was my favorite team to watch for years. I watched them very closely. Andrew Bogut.
He was
the loss with.
He's like.
I'm not saying he was great. I'm saying that it was a big loss for that team going into Game 6.
I mean,
especially,
I think Darko was better than Andrew Bogut.
I mean, Darko never got on the court, so we can talk about it. But anyway, so Andrew Bogut gets hurt. Yeah, Andrew Bogut gets hurt in Game 5. You lose him for Game 6. Draymond Green suspended for Game 5, comes back for Game 6. And the way that Draymond Green plays, he plays with a chip on his shoulder. He plays as hard as he possibly can. And that's how he has to play to affect the game because he's undersized for his position.
Good player. Now, not underrated, though.
Well, so now he can't play the way he normally plays.
Not underrated.
Right? Yeah. I still think he's underrated. I think he's even better than what you're saying. That's why.
Not at all. He's not underrated. Why?
But he's underrated? Because he's better than what you think he is. Even if you think he's great, he's still better than that.
So he's better than being great?
Oh, if he's better than what the general consensus is, I think that's underrated.
Okay. I'm not even a general consensus. I said great. I think he's a great player.
All right. Okay, so then you're on my side. He's underrated.
What the hell is better than great?
What I'm saying is that
exceptional.
Right.
I'm looking for.
But if you agree that he's better than what the general consensus is, then that's underrated.
No, but
we just agree.
Technically, that's the
that's the definition of underrated.
Okay. No, it's not. It's not.
What's the definition of underrated?
Underrated is you're like you're good,
Hmm.
but you're not like I'm putting it in layman's terms, like for like a
Right.
3-year-old to understand. You're
Hmm.
good, but nobody
Hmm.
realizes that how good you are.
That's what. Yeah. Now, if you're better than what people realize you are, that's underrated.
Well, no, he's no. I
If
disagree.
if you're better,
I'm gonna talk to you like
I'm
3-year-old. No,
using your
no.
words. I'm using your words. You said if they're better than what people realize they are, they're underrated. I'm saying Draymond Green is better than what people realize he is.
No, people think Draymond's good.
I'm not saying people don't think he's good. I still think he's better than that.
No, stop.
That's underrated. That's the
You're
definition
like
of
lying
underrated.
to yourself.
Mhm.
He's not underrated.
I believe that he is underrated. That's what I'm saying Draymond
But
Green is.
no, but the thing is, everybody knows that he's great. Well,
Mhm.
okay, not everybody thinks he's great, but
Right.
everybody knows that he's good.
Everybody knows that he's good.
Think
Everybody
about
should
it.
know that.
He's and another thing. If you look at
Mhm.
the idea of being underrated, if you're
Mhm.
underrated, you don't really get talked about much,
Mhm.
right?
Well, what does Draymond Green get talked about the most for?
How good he is
No, I think he gets
and
talked
his
about
attitude.
his attitude. Right.
His attitude
I
and that
think. I
but
think. I think.
it's
Yeah.
complimentary though, because if he had just had a bad attitude, they really wouldn't talk
I don't
about it.
think so. I don't think. I think if you talk to most people, they hate Draymond Green's attitude, and they miss how good he really is.
But I think him having that attitude, that's what makes him like such a huge catalyst on the Warriors. You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
Oh,
Like,
absolutely. He needs to play that way.
yeah, no, he does,
Right.
and
Right.
so that's what I'm saying. But he's not
Mhm.
underrated.
Let me change the subject slightly. Um, a couple years ago, Curry won an MVP, right? And I think he won back-to-back MVPs, right?
He did.
Right. His second MVP season was so much better than his first MVP season that it was possible for him to win Most Improved Player in the same season that he won MVP.
What are you about to tell me that Steph Curry's underrated? Is that what you about? Is
No,
that
no,
what you're
no, no.
saying?
I'm not saying he's underrated. What
I
I'm
was gonna
saying
say
is
I was
that
about to hang up this podcast on you.
what I'm saying is that everybody realized that Steph Curry was so good that he was an MVP, right?
Correct. Yeah. Okay.
However, he still got so much better that he could have also been most improved. They don't give it to him because you don't think of an
No, I
MVP player as
mean,
being most improved.
no. See, I disagree. See, now you're getting crazy.
Well,
We're gonna have
so I'm trying to make the
we're gonna have
point
to
that
do episode 2
what is the
because now I'm
definition of
starting to get
improved?
upset.
What's the
Improved
definition of
is
improved?
improved would be you were lacking prior and you got better. Moving
So now
forward.
you're the first thing you said is you're putting an opinion onto a definition, right? You're saying that you
Oh
were lacking and now you got
God.
better.
See,
You don't think you have to be
this is why we can't have these episodes.
because I don't
I'm
think
just gonna
that
next
I think
episode
you
I'm
can
talking
get
about myself.
yeah, you can get better. I think you can get better, right? Even though you're great. And I'm saying the same thing about Draymond Green,
So
where
you
I'm saying
let
that
me ask you a
when
question.
you talk about underrated, I think that when you have a rating, right? And I think that rating is too low
Let me
for
ask you a
Draymond
question.
Green. Mm-hmm.
During any point in actually, I'm not gonna say during any point, but we'll
Mm-hmm.
say in like the 90s,
Mm-hmm.
do you think it would be a slap in the face if you gave Michael Jordan a MIP award?
If he didn't win the MVP, also, yes.
Okay.
Right? Like
So
you have to say like you're the MVP in that situation. You
most
also got so much more better from where you were last year to where you are this year. So you can't go from an MVP season to a most improved season without winning the MVP also.
but the thing is if you get an MVP, you can't get
Mhm.
a most improved.
They don't do it, but that's just a
But
constraint that they're putting
again,
on it
this
unnecessarily.
is why I'm disagreeing with you. You
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 could disagree,
how the hell do you
but
go
I'm not
from
wrong
being the MVP? You are wrong. How do you go from being MVP to most improved? That's like
because you still
going
have no,
backwards.
no, no. You have to be both MVP and most improved that next
No,
season. Also,
you can go from MIP to MVP, but you can't
I'm
go
not.
from MVP to MIP. How do you
That's not what
most
I'm not
improve?
saying. That's not what I'm saying. That's not
I
what I'm
think
saying.
that's
I'm
what you're
not
saying.
saying no, no. I'm not saying you go from MVP to most improved. You go to MVP, and another season you get, and the next season you get the MVP also, but you can still be eligible for most improved as
Yeah, but
well.
that's like double dipping. Why do you even need MI like most improved if you're the
I'm not
MVP?
saying you need it. What I'm saying is you can make a stride. If you can make a stride in your game and have a season that is so much better than your previous MVP season, that you are improving more than everybody else is improving in the
Yeah,
league.
but it's just improving. Like if you get think about this, if you get most valuable player
Hmm.
or MOP, most outstanding player, you don't
Hmm.
need MIP because that's already I
Hmm.
feel like most improved
Yeah,
would be it's somewhat in like a most outstanding or most valuable. Do you know
yeah.
what I mean?
Well, no, not improved.
Oh God.
Because
Yeah.
because listen. If
I'm
if
done.
I
I'm
go
done.
out,
No, I
look
just
at
dropped
Nikola
the mic.
Jokic.
I just
No,
dropped the mic.
look at Nikola Jokic this year, right? Nikola Jokic had a season that is comparable to his season last year,
Okay.
right?
Okay.
Um, I wouldn't give him most improved this year, even if he got most valuable this year, right?
You're literally talking in circles right now.
I'm not talking in circles. I don't understand why you're not understanding what I'm saying.
No, because I
He
think
had a similar season, right? So if you give him most valuable player, that's one thing. But if he made strides and got so much better than his last season, he would also be more improved than everybody else in the league,
he would. I understand what you're saying, but I feel
right?
like most improve
You want to
goes
give that to
more
somebody that
to.
nobody cares about, is what you're saying. You want
I'm not.
Shai Gilgis Alexander to get most
To
improved
be
because he
honest,
scored
yeah,
20
he's
points last
balling.
year and 30 points this year. He
Yeah,
is. I'm
no,
not
he's
saying he's
balling.
not.
Yeah, he's
Right.
probably gonna get that.
He very well could. He's had a great season. He's
Yeah,
had a much better season this year than he had
I'm
last year.
actually glad. You know what? He
Uh,
was on the tip of my tongue. I'm glad you
yeah,
brought him up.
right. Yeah,
That's a perfect
right,
example of most
right.
improved.
So you want to
But you
give
can't.
it's like a
But you
consolation
can't
award.
like you can't give a
You want it to be
Nikola
a
Jokic
consolation award.
or
I'm
even
not
a,
giving it to Nikola Jokic. I don't think his season was that much better than his season
I'm just
last year.
saying, but you can't give it to a Steph Curry because these
But
guys are just MVPs all day.
Curry's second MVP season was so much better than his first
But
MVP
it's not
season
most
that I
improved.
don't think
You
anybody else in the league
think
took that
about
kind of a
this.
leap.
You literally won the most valuable player award. What the
Mhm.
hell do you need a most improved? Most improved from what? You were
It's
just
not
the
about
most
need.
valuable
You,
player.
you, it's not about need. He doesn't need it. He doesn't need
But it
to get
doesn't.
the
But
most
it doesn't
improved
even.
player.
It doesn't even make sense if you think
It
about it. It
does
doesn't
make
make. It
sense.
makes no
No,
sense. The
if
guy
you
was
think
the
about it, it
most
does make
valuable player.
sense.
Is literally like the best player in the league. You know, obviously he was most valuable for his team, but he was
Well,
almost
I think
probably
I
the best player
disagree
in the
with them
league.
being the best player in the league. Also,
Okay, I'm just saying it's like I did you hear what I said? It's like
yeah, right. But I don't
when
think
you
you
do
heard
the
what I said.
edit, make sure you stress I said it's
Yeah.
like being the best player in the league. All right.
Okay, like being the best player in the league. It's like being the best player in the league.
Okay.
However, you can go from being the best player in the league. Like let's say we're running a race, right? And I
Speaking of races.
yeah, hold on, let me listen. We can get to that. If we're running a race, me versus you, right? And you beat me by 15 seconds in a I don't know in a quarter mile race, like one lap around a track, a high school track, right? You beat me by 15 seconds, right? And then next year I go out and I run the exact same time, but you beat me by 20 seconds now, right? Well, let's say I get 2 seconds faster and you get 10 seconds faster. You're going to go out, you're going to beat me by 18 seconds, right?
Okay.
Who got better? Who got more better?
Does that even make sense? More better?
Yeah, no, I said that on purpose. Like who made the bigger improvement in their time?
Well, obviously, I'm better.
Right.
I mean, that's
And
just
and, and
given.
you got more
But
better.
you know you got more better.
No, I only got 2
I think
seconds
about it.
faster, and
No,
you
the
got
reason why
5 seconds
no, the
faster.
reason why you got more better is because regardless, I was gonna beat you. So you got your
Right.
time like
But your time
better.
got 5 seconds faster, and my time
Yeah,
got
no,
2
I'm
seconds faster.
again. Remember, I'm the superior athlete in this conversation. So
That's why I gave you
you
15
just.
seconds for a quarter mile.
But I'm just saying, you.
Mhm.
Yeah, no, you got more better.
Mhm.
The way you want to put it.
No, 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 no. Your time got faster than my time got faster.
But the thing is, I'm the superior athlete. I was
Yeah,
I was the superior athlete prior.
you already won the race.
Yeah, so
But
I'm gonna
but
be
so
better
what I'm saying,
regardless.
yeah, right, right. So, but what I'm saying is,
So
if you give me
you're
most
more
improved,
improved
if you
because you probably
no,
beat some other guys, even knowing you were gonna face me, but you beat other guys that
just
weren't.
the two of us. Nobody else is involved. Just the two of us. If you give me most improved in that situation, that's like a consolation award. Like thanks for showing up. You did a little better this
But
year.
that's exactly what it is.
That hurts.
I mean, I'm
You won
sorry.
everything.
I'm
Yeah.
sorry. I mean,
That's
we're
not what
trying to give you
improved.
something. We're
That's not
trying to
what improved means
no,
to me.
but we're
Improved means you improved more.
no, but why are you giving the guy that gets all the awards also most improved if
They
somebody
don't.
even got better?
Right. They don't. It's a consolation
That's what
award. It's
I'm.
like
This is
thanks
my
for
whole
showing
argument.
up this season.
So since we're talking about races, and I'm not talking about the colors, skins, or nothing, but
Oh,
what don't you have some like
there's only one
races or
race.
something that you're doing?
Yeah. I got a 100-mile road bike ride
Okay, why?
coming up in like a month
Why
and
are
a
you
half.
doing that?
I said I
Where
would.
where are you leaving from?
We're starting at the George Washington Bridge.
Okay, so
We're
you
gonna
could
go.
probably you're gonna swing around my development.
Yeah, yeah. I'm gonna need to refill my water bottle
Yeah, I
when I
mean,
get to your house.
okay, all right.
Just leave the front door open,
No problem. I got you.
or leave the water running out the on the hose in the back, and
Yeah,
I'll be fine.
I might do the hose thing out there.
I'm gonna be a little sweaty by the time I get down there.
100 miles. Wow,
100 miles. We're
that's
going
impressive.
from yeah. Well, I haven't done it yet.
So you're still considering. Okay.
I'm gonna no. I'm signed up. I'm invested. I just haven't done it yet.
I
So it's
love it.
not that impressive. It'll be impressive when it's done.
Don't you have like some other sort of race or something
We got
or
a
a
10,000
swim or?
meters. Yeah, 10,000 meter swim tomorrow morning.
I have a question.
Yeah.
You know, like all the other people that are doing the swim. Do you know them or do you know who's involved?
Yeah. Tomorrow I'll know the people swimming.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah. They swim in the mornings, and since I work nights, I don't get a chance to swim with them often. But they're doing this tomorrow, and I can join them.
Yeah, okay.
So I'm going to join them tomorrow.
I want to know all these people that just love the water this much because that's a
Oh,
lot.
this yeah. There's a guy. He swam like 45 straight days up until just
I'm
recently.
sorry. What?
Yeah, he swims like
You said he
28.
swam 45 straight days?
Yeah, he gets up. He swims every morning.
No, but when you say 45, like he's in the water for 45 days, or are you saying
No,
like
no, 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 no. He gets up and swims for like an hour every morning.
Oh, okay. I was
No, no,
like,
no, no. He
wow.
did a swimming workout. Sorry, I guess that
I
came
was like,
across.
where did he swim to? Like,
Right, just treading water at this point.
I'm like, that's crazy. Like,
Yeah,
did he?
he'll swim like 2 miles every morning, about an hour,
Wow. Okay. That's very
approximately.
impressive.
Some
Very,
a little
very
more.
impressive.
Yeah, that's impressive. I don't have that kind of dedication. I'll do
Yeah.
like 2 or 3 days a week.
I mean, that's still pretty good, to be honest.
Yeah.
Alrighty. I think that we're gonna conclude here because you might say some crazy stuff like, "Oh, this guy is most improved and he was an MVP for 4." Yeah. So
Yeah.
let's
I mean, people
let's wrap
feel
it up here.
people should feel free to chime in and tell me how wrong I am.
Don't worry.
However, I think when you take definitions and you think about it, I think I'm right.
All right, my man. So
All
next
right,
episode we might have some special guests. So
that'll be fun.
definitely can't wait to hear the chatter from our guests.
Just get some comments, see what people think,
Sounds
see
good.
where we should go. All right.
Sounds good. Starting 5, signing off. Mr. Brian, and I'm out.